Alright, I'm back with another album review. Today's review is on Razorblade Suitcase from Bush. It's the second album from Bush, and it's a follow-up to their debut album, 16 Stone, from '94. And when I was researching this album, I heard that there's a lot of people who are now comparing it to In Utero from Nirvana. That's the 20th anniversary edition of In Utero, but I'll talk about this at a later date. Now, it actually makes sense that that Razorblade Suitcase and In Utero would be compared to one another in terms of sound because they're both produced by the same guy, Steve Albini. And I think it's awesome that that producer who has worked with Nirvana would also be working with Bush. And I also read that Steve Albini also put more time and energy into this album than he did with any previous albums that he had worked on prior to this. And this album was recorded at Abbey Road Studios, which is a recording studio in London. This album was released on November 19th of 1996 under Trauma. In terms of genres, this album is primarily centered around grunge, because grunge was very popular at the time. What needs to be known is that this album was originally going to be released in 1997, but it was moved up because U2 were going to be releasing an album at around the same time. Around the time of early '97, and from what I heard is that this album, when it was first released, it debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. To this day, this is the only Bush album to debut at number 1, despite the fact that it wasn't as successful as 16 Stone. And I was doing my research. I saw that Gavin Rossdale wrote most of these songs in less than a month, and some were written while Bush were on the road. Gavin also said in an interview that he was trying to write the songs as his life was falling apart at the time. He also said that he was writing in one room while his longtime girlfriend of 5 years was packing and leaving. Now, to promote this album, Bush went on a world tour in '97 called the Razorblade Suitcase Tour, where they ended up touring through North America, South America, Asia, Europe, and Australia. From what I read is that this album ended up getting mixed reviews from critics, and some of them claimed that Bush was trying to distance themselves from bands like Nirvana and Pearl Jam in terms of sound. If you ask me, those dumbass critics are full of shit, because I really like this album. Now to talk about the songs. The album starts with Personal Holloway. Just by reading the lyrics, it looks like it was about Gavin Rossdale going through a breakup at the time he was writing this particular song. Swallowed was the first song to get released as a single, and the single was released on October 15th of 1996, just over a month before the album was released. Now, of all the songs on this album, this is the one that I've heard the most amount of times. And my dad plays this song on his radio show a lot, and Bush always played it at their concerts. I read in an interview that Gavin Rossdale said that he wrote the song as a response to overwhelming success, despite failing for years. It's also what I personally think is the best song from this album. There's going to be a link to the music video in the description. Greedy Fly was the next song to get released as a single. The single was released on January 28th of 1997, where Gavin described the song as, quote, introverted, nasal-giving moment set to rock music. He also said that the success of Bush inspired him to write the song. The next song to be released as a single was Bone Driven, and the single was released on April 16th of '97. The last song to get released as a single was called Contagious, and the single was released on December 20th, '97, which was 13 months after the album was released. This is a very interesting song to discuss. It has a sharp, distorted sound, along with a drum beat that's very heavy and dark. Now, the 20th anniversary re-release of this album includes 4 bonus tracks: Old, Broken TV, Sleeper, and Bubbles. Unfortunately, this is the regular version, so those songs aren't on it. Fortunately, you can always buy the songs off the Google Play Store or iTunes. Overall, I found this album to be very enjoyable. In fact, I feel that Bush did some things better here than what they did with when they did with the first album. I know the critics gave this album mixed reviews, but those dumbasses don't know what they're talking about, because this album is way better than the critics make it out to be. A friend of mine said that, but that this album is a very underappreciated album, and that Bush are an underappreciated band in general, and I agree. I highly recommend buying this album and listening to it. That's all I have to say on this. If you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment if you like. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back this Saturday with another review.